For the next 9 days, I'm attempting one of the most iconic hikes on Earth.
No need to worry, no need to panic.
This is the Tour du Mont Blanc. 180 kilometers circling Europe's tallest mountain.
This very second is one of the best moments of my life.
My journey begins here, in a small French village not far from Chamonix, and the hike will take me across 3 separate countries: France, Italy, and Switzerland.
Have you ever seen such a beautiful morning in all of your life?
Along the way, I'll face over 10,000 meters of elevation, scorching summer heat, sudden alpine storms, and the mental battle of putting one foot in front of the other day after day, with the hopes and dreams of finishing this epic hike. The TMB is just pure magic. This is going to be an emotional roller coaster, and I'd love for you to join me. Right, let's begin.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TMB. This is the final part of our hike. We are leaving Switzerland this morning and we've got quite the adventure going up a mountain. There's some scrambling involved, some bouldering. It's going to be very, very steep, a little bit dangerous, but it's going to be incredibly beautiful. It's one of those variants that is only accessible in good weather, but we're forecast for decent weather, so we're going to give it a go. Although there's about 200 people who stayed here last night, and only about 3 or 4 of us are doing the variant today, so maybe that's a sign that it's a stupid idea. But you know, if you don't risk it, you'll never get the biscuit. I'm just going to say goodbye to a few of my friends that I've seen multiple times on the TMB, but we've just figured out that this will be the last time we see each other. One of the best things about doing the TMB, even alone like I am, is it's so social. Every night you're in a different refuge with 50 to 100 people having dinner, playing cards, having a drink, and sharing stories of the trail. So you're never alone. Right guys, it's been a pleasure. Good to meet you, mate.
Take care, gentlemen.
Yeah, and
Are you following Newcastle?
yes, take care.
Take care, mate.
Great to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah, the previous night at dinner, I'd met these 2 young strapping lads. One 18-year-old from the UK who's doing the TMB completely on his own, even though he's still a teenager, bless him, and a 23-year-old from America. Even though he was young, he has loads of experience, and he was an ex-professional footballer, ex-professional ballet dancer, just an all-rounder. So at dinner, we all thought, let's stick together, let's do this dodgy, difficult variant as a team. In case one of us gets into trouble, there'll at least be 2 more people around to help us get out of any sticky situation.
The boulder section has begun. Whew, feels good to get onto a little bit more of an advanced trail and get off onto a variant. A bit cloudy still, so let's hope it's clear at the top.
Even the people at the refuge had told us, be careful, make sure you know what you're doing, because they know lots of people who come up here underestimate it and get into quite a bit of mischief.
It's good to get off the trail though, isn't it? It's excellent fun. You can see it's going to go up and up and up. I'm bleeding. I don't know how. So these markers are the trail for us now. You can see them painted on the sides of rocks, up and around. The trail has now just become a rocky mess. This is the bit that I think most people are put off by, because if you were up here in high winds and in the rain, it would be quite silly.
Now I'm pushing 40, so trying to keep up with an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old was quite the challenge, but I did my best to keep up with them as we scrambled and clambered over these rocks.
Go on, son. High five. Yeah. not. This is by far and away the most difficult and steepest part. You know, that scramble across the rocks there, that was pretty sketchy. I hope you can see this on camera. It's like that.
And yeah, this was definitely the hardest scrambling, the hardest hiking I've ever done. Coming up here was a challenge, and I was really glad that I wasn't alone.
That's the top. My calves are on absolute fire. If this was wet and slippy, all this mud would be coming away. There'd be a lot more rocks falling down. We just had a really scary moment where he kicked a rock and it started running down the hill, and he shouted at us, and we saw it coming, a big rock flying towards us, and we ducked down and it flew over our heads. Very, very fortunate. Almost there, lads. Last push.
Yeah, just up over this edge would be the highest point of the variant, and we would have finished this brutal, this difficult climb in these freezing conditions up here at well over 2,600 meters. Normally, any hike where you gain 1,000 meters of elevation is really difficult, but doing it in less than 90 minutes, it felt like it was practically vertical the entire time. But hey, we had made it.
All right, welcome to the top of the variant. We made it all the way. It's a pity that there isn't any view, but what can you do? The mountains can be temperamental. 2,600 meters up here. This is the highest point, and we've been scrambling now for the best part of an hour. It was tricky. I did get the drone up for it, but wasn't the best footage in this fog. Up here, as you can imagine, it's quite bitter, so we've got layers on. There's a few other people here who are having their lunch, and we have to scramble all the way down into the next village of Triant. High five, buddy. Good job. Let's go. Guys, it's clearing up just as we've come down the summit. Look.
Oh, there's a lake over there.
Yeah, we were so lucky. Just as we were coming down from the summit, the clouds and the fog cleared, revealing the beautiful glacier that we had been scrambling and climbing right next to. Hence why it had been so cold up there.
I hope the French guys got to see this. They looked freezing.
Of course, it was difficult coming down, but with these views and the fact that we can now see properly where we were going, this descent was just beautiful and fun. And yeah, we just had the best time coming down this valley. By early afternoon, we had made it down the variant and back onto the TMB itself, and it was beautiful. And eventually we arrived at Triant, the home for the night, and I was struggling at this point. Trying to keep up with those two lads had certainly taken its toll. I was completely knackered. This was my refuge for tonight, a beautiful hotel actually. But the second I put my head down for a little nap, I did not wake back up until the following day. I was that knackered.
Good morning. Welcome to day 8. Day 8 of the TMB. I am shattered. But I'm feeling better now. I'm leaving very late. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Everyone at the hotel left at 7. I just didn't feel like getting up and at them today. What's a daisy? No, I'm okay. Thank you. Oh, she nearly wanted to pick me up, bless her. Give me a ride. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually, instead of going up this mountain and then down to go up another mountain, I'm just going to go around today. It's 14 kilometers around instead of 7 kilometers up and down. So I'm adding distance, but it's going to be relatively flat, and I just don't feel like doing a big climb first thing in the morning after yesterday and a very, very poor sleep. So long story short, I'm going to add distance by going around this mountain because I've got to climb up a very steep section later, and I want to save my energy.
Yeah, the plan was a 14-kilometer detour to save energy. You would only ever say this on the TMB. My biggest surprise for this morning's session actually was, even though I was following the main road, because this is Switzerland, the path for pedestrians is actually quite the route for adventure.
Okay, in typical Swiss style, this has surprised me. So yes, we're walking along the side of the road and then quickly going under the road, alongside the road. But actually, most of it is like this. I can hear the road, I can't see it. But we're going through the valley and we're still doing elevation. Up and down, but it's so beautiful. Can you hear the road? So this boring little walk has actually turned into a little side quest, and I'm thoroughly enjoying being on my own. It's been great the past few days. It's been quite social, hiking with the boys, hiking with other people, lots of communal breakfasts, lots of communal dinners, lots of chit chat, talking about the trail, talking about where you come from, what do you do, where do you live. It's nice to just have no one around, not a soul to hear, to talk to, or to annoy me. One thing I've learned on this hike, guys, especially staying in that hotel last night, not everybody does the whole loop, and most people don't. Most people do half, 3/4, or they do the whole thing, but they use buses, they use cable cars, and they try to do it in 5 days, and they skip large sections. Some tour companies do the best of, so you might do 5-day hikes and you don't really overexert yourself. It's kind of like a vacation, a hiking vacation. But you know, that's one thing I've learnt. I thought everybody would be doing the whole thing on foot. Not many people do. Look, this is what I was talking about. They've got these little metal wires that they've engineered up into the rock to help you get up. This is actually quite the adventure. I thought this would be a cheeky little shortcut in terms of up and down, but it's turning into quite the ordeal.
Yeah, it had been a pleasant morning, and it spat me out on the train tracks, heading back through into France now, to the beginning of the difficult variant that I had chosen today, hence why I decided to do this 14-kilometer detour just to save some energy. We were going to need it for what's coming up.
Okay, so we've made it to the proper section. We're back on the TMB, on an alternative, or a variant I should say. Only on the TMB would you do a 14-kilometer, 3.5 hour detour to save energy. So this trail will take us up onto a plateau where there are several lakes and my refugio, but it will be very steep, over 1,000 meters in elevation. Over the next 2 to 3 hours, we're going to a place called Lake LeBlanc, I think, and on the sign there it's 2 hours 45 minutes. And I think what I'm going to do actually is just have a little bit of lunch. I did nip into a little pub along the way, so I'll have my little croissant, I'll have my little pineapple juice squashed in my bag.
So the reason why people do this variant, it's not technically on the TMB, right, is because there are some very scenic ladders that are bolted into the side of a cliff, and it just adds a new experience and something quite thrilling to the TMB.
Whew. It seems as though we're soon to approach the ladder section. It's starting to get very, very steep. So let's just prepare. Okay, here we are at the ladder section. Now there are 3 ladders straight away, so that's the first 3 to count straight away. A small one, a long one, a medium one. So let's do the first 3 and we'll count them out together so we can learn how many ladders are there. Let's start with number 1. Nice and easy. And here's the beginning of number 2. Bonjour! Ladder number 2. Now these aren't like any ladders in Thailand. They're bolted into the rock. Look at that. Proper good engineering. No need to worry, no need to panic. Easy. Easy peasy. Ladder number 4, look how big this one is. No, it's just a few steps. We're going to count this one. This is ladder number 5. Very cute little ladder. Obviously, if you're afraid of heights, don't come up here. Ladder number 6. Good balance, but you can lean on this. Number 7. I think he's starting to understand why I wanted to save my strength today. This fella looks like he's on a day climb. I'll let him go first. I think that was 7. 8, 9. 10. Okay. 11. We won't count these, but I love these little steps. They're very good, very handy. How fun was that? Look at this, we're still not even at the top yet. Down there is a village, and down there is Chamonix. We're nearly there, guys. This time tomorrow, we'll be nearly finished. That was another highlight. The TMB, by the way, just never stops, does it? It never stops. I'll see you at the top. Okay, we made it to the top. There's a little monument here and it's uninterrupted views across the Mastiff. There's Mont Blanc. Now we're seeing her from the backside. I can say her backside is just as lovely as the front.
Yes, safe to say I was knackered. A long morning session and then a difficult ascent and the ladders. I was so glad to be up here on the plateau. Up here there are 4 or 5 small lakes and they are just absolutely beautiful. You'll see eagles, you'll see marmots, you might even see mountain goats up here, but by far the best reason to come up here is just the incredible views and the reflections in the water of the Mastiff itself. You'll see lots of day hikers from Chamonix up here because it's quite accessible. There's a chairlift not too far away, and with these views and these lakes and the distant mountains, especially on a day like today, it was busy, but oh my god, what a beautiful sight. Definitely one of the highlights of the TMB. And if you're in Chamonix and you're just looking for a day hike, come up here, look at it.
almost there. That's where we're staying, can you believe it? There's the refuge, Lac Blanc. There's the lake, Lac Blanc. This is our playground for this evening. Not bad views. Probably understatement of the year. Okie dokie, welcome to the final refuge of the trip, and quite an interesting refuge. So, big room with bunk beds. I've chosen one. We're all kind of squashed in there, so it'll be quite interesting. Let's hope there's no snorers tonight. The other interesting aspect is there's no shower up here, absolutely no shower, so hoping that we don't smell too bad. This is the outside area. Is that music? Oh, that is music. How weird. As you can see, quite the view. They've got cold beers, but no cold shower, unfortunately. Dinner's at 7, breakfast at 7. So this is us tonight. No Wi-Fi, no showers. Okay, good morning. And quite the sunrise we've had up here this morning. I watched the first half from my bed because there was a view of a window. Now I've come out here and oh my god, it is, I mean, look at it. Have you ever seen such a beautiful morning in all of your life? Today is the last day of the TMB. It's day 9. Woo-hoo! Back to La Houche. Back to the start point, back to that sign that we saw 9 days ago when we set off. And we will complete the loop and we will finish the TMB. Let's have some breakfast. Let's have a lazy morning up here, enjoy the views, and then we'll get cracking. Even on day 9, the TMB just doesn't stop. Like 2 females and a baby, because the male has huge horns. This is awesome. That's it. Beautiful. I finally got to see them in the wild on the last day. It's amazing how the weather can change on a dime here, because after that beautiful sunrise, a little bit of breakfast, it has worsened quite significantly. Lots of rain on the big peaks and forecasted storms. So I am covered up. It is a bit nippy up here. So let's just take one last look at the view. I'm sure we're going to have lovely views on the way down, but this will be the last time we can really enjoy it, because obviously on the way down you're checking your feet, making sure not to slip and fall. It would be a disaster. It would be a shame to get injured on the last day. So let's just take our time and look at the Mastiff. one last time uninterrupted from this incredible view point on this rock. Storms are due late afternoon, so let's just let's not linger. This has been, without doubt, and I'm not saying this just to say it, but the best hike I have ever done, bar none. And it's also been the hardest hike. I mean, we've done 10,000 meters of elevation. That's like climbing Mount Everest and another 1/3 of Everest in 9 days, which is no mean feat. Just another one of the epic views here. And do you know what? I normally would never say this, right? But we're about to finish, and all I want to do is carry on. Like I'd love to do it again. I would love to reach La Houche. Don't get me wrong, I'd love a shower in my own bed for a night, because that's probably the hardest thing, is like the constant staying in a dorm room. Because physically, it's such a challenge. But for me, it's like, you know, there's people snoring. You're quite claustrophobic every night. That's the only big struggle other than the physical challenge. I have never felt stronger. If you remember on day one, I was in a big mess. I was going up that hill and I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to do this. I just felt so out of shape. And that's quite normal on a big hike, to feel out of shape on day one. It is a bit of a shock to the system, but I felt sluggish. But with each day I grew stronger. My legs didn't grow weary, they grew in strength. And here on day 9, I've never felt better. My back just feels ripped. My legs are not sore. They're strong. My feet are not aching. They're primed. I would honestly love nothing more than just to do it all again. But yeah, let me just leave you with some scenes as we go down, and then we'll finish the entire video and the series down by the final point in La Houche. Never underestimate the TMB. I thought it would be easy, but no. That is where we were hours ago, and I thought we'd be in the tree line by now, but it's taking us back up. I don't know where we're going, but the TMB, the easy day, ain't so easy. They've even got us climbing ladders on the final stretch. Only on the TMB do you climb the equivalent of Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the UK, in Scotland, right? Only on the TMB would you climb Ben Nevis on the way down. Bloody hell. Do not ask me where I got the energy to run the last 3k. I mean, I'm just jogging it. But I just feel
yeah, I don't know where I got the energy from, but towards the end of the day, when I was 3 or 4 kilometers away from La Houche, away from the finish line, I got this sudden urge to start running.
Big finish. TMB. Completed it, mate. All right. We have 2 ice cold beers, 0.0, on deck with a little bit of ice. Don't hate me, but that's how we do it here in Asia, even though we're in France. Right, let's actually go over the distance and figure out exactly how far we walked doing the TMB. Right, I'm going to do this live on my fitness app. This is the thing that's been tracking my steps and my distance today, well, every day in my pocket. So day 1 on a Wednesday, we did 20.6 kilometers. That's the day I thought I was going to quit. Then on Thursday, 13.18k. Friday, 20.82 kilometers. Saturday, 21.3 kilometers. Sunday, 23.53 kilometers. Monday, 24.58. Tuesday, easy day that day, 14.78. Yesterday, Wednesday, 21.07 kilometers. And today, the final day, was a bloody old slog. 23.42 kilometers. And you can see as well on each one of those days the activity line, so you can see which, like we were hiking from 6 till like 4 most days pretty much. They were big days, and I've gone to the little I've gone to the trouble of screenshotting. It was 183.28 kilometers. 183 we did. Everyone will be slightly different. Some will do 170, some will do 190. We did 183, and we also did 290,000 steps. Cheers, big ears. Thank you so much for joining me on the TMB. It was absolutely incredible, and I wish I could do it again. But someone's got to go back to Thailand and have some adventures.